Welcome to the Lone Star Conference Service Spotlight, where we highlight members of the LSC that are serving on NCAA national committees. I'm Brandon Tripp, and I am joined by Texas A&M-Commerce Vice President for Student Success and Dean of Students, and Senior Women Administrator Judy Sackfield, who serves on the NCAA Division II Management Council and is the Management Council representative to the Division II Nominating Committee. Judy, welcome.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Before we get into your work with Management Council, give us a little bit of an idea of your background in college athletics, all the way back from the days when you're all ACC player at Clemson and through coaching and to where you are now.
Yeah, I'm a Canadian, so I came from the Great White North and landed down at Clemson University, where I got my fill of athletics. I think when I first started, I didn't plan on being in athletics the rest of my life, but I guess I had a career path that I thought I was just going to be an athlete forever. But I think what happened is I got the coaching itch a little bit because I didn't really know what else to do. And so I ended up applying for a job at Georgia Tech and got the head coaching job there. I think I was probably the only sucker in town at the time to take it. I don't know how I lived in Atlanta on the salary I was making, but it was a very good transition for me to go into it, to understand that maybe coaching wasn't what I really wanted to do, but I ended up leaving there after about 8 seasons and then going over to UAB. I was an assistant coach, which I love, and then I became the head coach again at UAB, and I did that for another 8 seasons. 8 seems to be my years. After that, then I just knew that coaching was not what I really wanted to do. I wanted to have more of a life coaching opportunity, and this thing came out called Champs Life Skills at the time, and I said that's what I want to do. And I went into my athletic director, the late and great Gene Bartow, and said to him, "This is what I want to do. I want to take over and do this academic student development type of thing." And so I helped build their program over there. And then after doing that, I met my first athletic director here, Carlton Cooper, and he enticed me over here to Commerce to create the same sort of thing. So that's sort of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest histories I've heard doing this thing. It's awesome. In pivoting now to your committee service, can you tell us kind of what the role of Management Council is within Division II and what your role is on that council?
Yeah, so Management Council reports directly to the President's Council and is charged with recommending administrative policy and regulations that govern the division. The Management Council kind of reviews and acts on recommendations from all of the Division II committee structures, the structure that's out there, and from the Division II representatives to committees within the association-wide function. So we're also responsible for appointing the Division II representatives to those committees. So I always kind of explain it this way, and this is how I was explained. The councils are the people that approve and move forward. Committees are the people who do all the work. They do all the work and throw it into the council, and the council reviews it and says yes or no to it, and then we forward it to the President's Council. So it's really a fun group of people that really have like-minded, student-centric focus, and absolutely love it. That's
awesome. And you mentioned a little bit there, you kind of started on nominating committee, but you've been on Management Council for going on your 2nd year. How did you get involved in national committee service? And you mentioned there again a little bit about starting with the nominating committee.
Yeah, I think that for a very long time, I wasn't really involved in the national committees. I was very heavily involved on my campus. But, if I'm going to talk the talk, I have to walk the walk. And I really believe that it's important that if I'm going to speak up, I need to speak up on a national committee as well. So really, I got my start by saying, hey, I'm interested and I want to get on something. And so I ended up getting on a men's golf rack. That was my regional advisory committee. That's where it started, and learned a whole lot about golf. And I remember somebody telling me on the committee one time, there was another coach, he said, "You were the first administrator that asked a ton of questions." And it's because one, I didn't golf, and two, I really didn't understand golf. So I had to get on the phone constantly and ask them, how do I read golf stat? How do I do this? And I really learned and appreciated what they were doing. I was nominated by the Lone Star Conference at the time. I think I was put in there, and my predecessor, Kim Vincent from Cameron, who was on management council for 4 years and did a fabulous job. She actually really was an inspiration in me trying to get onto it. So when I finally was able to get on, I know it was because of her and her really probably speaking highly of me, hopefully, and getting me there. And I had big shoes to fill. She did a great job.
Obviously, it's been a really busy time for Management Council with the pandemic. What has kind of been the big task for Management Council, and what are the things that you guys have been working on as it relates to COVID-19?
It's my second year, and my first year is one of those eye-openings where you go to meetings and you try to learn and understand the process and how you bring things. And I always have to remember that when I'm on the Management Council, I represent the Lone Star Conference, but I also represent Division II student athletes, coaches, administrators. So I think that the first year was an eye-opening experience, and then the second year, of course, now we're in COVID, and we're not meeting in person, and we're all around, the Zooms and all of that, and I think it's been a little difficult because now with COVID, there seems to be, Management Council's there, and they are voting and they're pushing things forward. But the structure's been a little bit different because you had the Board of Governors that came into effect, and they're making a lot of those decisions. However, I think really and truly a lot of the big things that we're looking at is waivers, and how do we help protect our student athletes that have been affected by all of this. And if you're an athlete, we understand that you wanna play. And you want to have your 4 years, and you want to have that opportunity to finish out your career at your institution. So I think a lot of it has to do with, a lot of talk is about the waivers, a lot of talk is about scheduling. And I would say that the majority of the discussions are on safety, and how do we keep our athletes safe, but yet still providing them that same experience that they deserve at the national level.
Yeah, and that's player safety. Again, something you've mentioned is just really, really important, especially during this time. Judy, thanks for your time today and for all that you do for the Lone Star Conference and for Division II.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.